20 years ago tonight, Princess Diana was killed in a car crash in Paris as she and her new boyfriend raced to escape paparazzi. Mark Phillips, who covered that story, reports tonight on Diana's legacy.
20 years later, and the Diana devotees are back. And her sons, who have managed this commemoration, say it'll be the last one. They won't again publicly relive the devastation they felt when at just 15 and 12 years old, they had to parade their grief before the world. But even back then, Diana's death became more than their tragedy. It became a national psychodrama with very un-British public displays.
She touched our hearts in life and death.
And it seemed to rattle the monarchy itself, which many felt took too long to respond to the public sorrow. And it cast the future king and Diana's ex, Prince Charles, as the villain. Charles, who has become Charles the Silent for this anniversary. For good reason, says royal correspondent Roya Nika.
This could never have been a time when Charles was going to be liked and loved by the public. They are reminded once again of how badly wrong that marriage went.
Diana, the modern, accessible, caring, and yet exasperating royal, had become their new brand. And her death seemed to break the bond between the monarchy and the people. It became the story at the time. In some ways, though, her death is proving more difficult for them to handle than her life was. 20 years later, the flowers are gone, and that great flood of shock and grief that had swept Britain has long since receded, leaving a kind of sad nostalgia behind. Diana's legacy is that she changed the way a nation behaves.
There is no doubt that Diana marks an epoch.
Royal historian David Starkey.
From being the people with a stiff upper lip, we become a nation where there's nary a dry eye and the lip always trembles. This, I think, is very, very different.
A difference she never got to see. Mark Phillips, CBS News, London.